Hey guys, I wanted to touch on the 1996 Finest set tonight. It's a really cool set. I wanted to go over a bunch of stuff about it, including, supposed print runs, what is in the set itself, the different layers of the set, because it's kind of confusing set unless you really delve deep into it, which I want to do, and even have a conspiracy theory about the set itself. And so let's get into it. So the set consisted of Series 1, Series 2. There was 200, I have sheets and notes over here, so bear with me. There was 220 total bronze cards. It was broken up into 3 separate series and 7 separate kind of mini subsets, we'll say. So there's 3 different tiers of cards you could get, which were the bronze, silver, and gold, or the common, uncommon, and rare, as they're referred to on the cards themselves. And the 7 different subsets were Sterling, Gamers, Intimidators, Franchises, Additions, Phenoms, and Prodigies. So there was 4 in Series 1 and another 4 in Series 2. Series 1 included Sterling, Gamers, Intimidators, and Phenoms. And Series 2 included Sterling, Franchises, Additions, and Prodigies. As you notice, Sterling was featured in both Series 1 and Series 2, which I'll kind of get into a little bit later. So the bronze were obviously the most common versions of them. Those were 6 to a pack normally. The silver was 1 in every 4 packs supposedly, and gold was 1 every 24 packs. So the set broke up into a total of 220 bronze cards, 91 silver cards, and 48 gold cards. Where it gets kind of confusing is like some players had their gold cards in different subsets. So I'll give you some examples here. Cal Ripken, because I collect Cal Ripken. So Ripken had a franchise version, and this is the bronze version. And you can't really see on the back, but it's labeled. The number is card 281, and underneath it, there's the theme, which is F8, which is short for franchises. So it's the 8th card in the franchise mini subset. And there's a thing on the side that says common. And on the top, since I'm showing you refractor versions, it says refractor. Right down there. You can't really see it because it's hard to focus. And then here is, he also had a Sterling version, and the Sterling version was the silver or the uncommon version. So like I said on the back, the regular card number is 165, the theme is S12, so he was the 12th card in the Sterling subset, and it's an uncommon and refractor. And getting to a really nice one, I love the gold refractors in the set. They're beautiful cards. So he had a Finest Gamers version, okay? And it's labeled the same way, G1, card 25, labeled rare, and refractor. So, if you're following so far, let's just say, for an example, Griffey, he had also 3 cards in this set. His gold version was the Intimidators version. He had a common in the Sterling. So Griffey's Sterling, just like this, looks just like this, except it is bronze instead of having a silver finish. And any player that had a gold Sterling, like Maddux and a few other players, look like just like this except gold. Here's a uncommon or silver Maddux version of an Intimidator's. So it's hard to break down. I know Baseball Cardpedia doesn't have the full breakdown list. There is another card website, database website, that breaks all the cards down into their subsets, and you can also, get a full checklist of everything involved in the set. So the initial print runs on these cards were supposedly, like I listed the regular gold, silver, and bronze, or the common, uncommon, rare versions, print runs. The refractor versions, this is kind of where it got a little dicey in production. So the refractor versions, to get a bronze refractor, was supposedly 1 every 12 packs. A silver refractor was 1 every 48 packs, and a gold was 1 every 288 packs, which came out to a supposed total of print run of 150 cards total per gold players. So out of the 48 gold refractors released, there was only 150 copies of each one. So back in, I think it was 97 or 98, or right after the set kind of came out, there was a guy, actually two people, a guy that was obsessed with Maddux cards, and also a guy who was obsessed with Jaromir Jagr cards in hockey. And they decided that they were going to go after the gold refractors. And one guy, there was a Dr. Joseph Sentif was his name, for the Maddux cards. He decided that he was going to pay an exorbitant amount of money and get as many as he could. So this was back in like the early internet days. And he just threw out everywhere on the internet, on America Online and other places, offering ridiculous money, up to $1,000, per Maddux gold refractor. He ended up getting 220 of them, which is far over the supposed print total of 150. And there was the same thing with the Jagr cards as well. The Jagr collector ended up collecting over 200 Jagr cards. So there was a lawsuit brought upon by these two gentlemen, and one guy settled for, I think, over $100,000, and Dr. Joseph Sentif, he ended up settling out of court with Topps. They originally had told them that they were standing by their numbers and there was no way that he had all these copies. And then they came back to him and said that there must have been a theft at the plant, and they usually produce an extra 15% of cards that they keep in their, Topps vault. But that would only bring the total up to 165 if there was only an extra 10% of the cards. That wouldn't explain the other 220 cards that this guy had. He also, doesn't have this one. So there was at least 221 versions. I picked this up the other day. I was super excited to get it, because if he has 220 of them locked away, then who knows how many else are out there. But I have a theory on that, if you'll bear with me. So there's at least, I'm sure some of you guys out there have a couple copies of these cards, especially hardcore Maddux collectors. So that doesn't really explain, why there's so many of these Maddux cards out there, and you really don't see many gold refractors come up for 96 Topps. So my theory is, for some reason, like I stated earlier, that there's only 7 different subsets in this set. And they're all different except for Sterling, which was released in Series 1 and Series 2. So for some strange reason, like, all these subsets are different except Topps releases 2 of the same subset in both Series 1 and Series 2, which is really weird. Like, I don't understand why they would do that. And my thought is that they accidentally produced, when there's 14 total gold Sterling cards of 14 different players. The different players out there are Bonds, Bagwell, Ryan Klesko, Dante Bichette, Heidi Onomo, Greg Maddux, Ray Ordonez, Albert Bell, Sammy Sosa, Kirby Puckett, Dennis Eckersley, Jason Giambi, and Matt Williams. There was a total of 47, I believe. I counted total Sterling cards in general. So 14 of those versions are gold players. So my thought is, for some strange reason, they may have doubled the production value for those 14 gold Sterling players. Or all the Sterling players in general, but the 150, produced total that Topps said that they had, I think it may have been doubled by accident because of the fact that it was released in both series. There's only 14 different Sterling players out there, and the ironic thing is, I see the gold Bagwell pop up all the time. There's probably 6 or 7 of them on eBay right now. And a lot of Bonds as well. And those are the 3 main players that I see pop up more than any other player. And they're all gold Sterlings. And the also strange thing is, the Jaromir Jagr version of the card is also a gold Sterling. It's a pretty big coincidence. I'm not saying by any means this theory is correct. It just, for some reason, it makes sense in my eyes that they may have accidentally put out, just for these gold Sterlings, double the production rate, because they doubled up on the Sterling cards in general. I see it in, you see errors all the time in release printing. I brought up a couple months back about the Zenith Diamond Club cards with the real diamonds in them. I honestly think that those were switched in factory because the ones that don't have the diamonds in them have the diamond imprint in them and have a beautiful refractor finish. And the cards that do have the diamonds, they kind of just seem like they were glued to the top of the card, and they don't have nearly as nice of a finish. So I don't know. I know it happens, and that would kind of explain the reason why Topps was originally standing by their numbers, saying, yes, this is 100% correct. We weren't in the wrong. And then they claimed there was a theft in the factory of, 15 cards. So that would still leave them over, 50, 60 cards short. Minimum of what Dr. Joseph Sentif had of the 220. And I know that I saw another Maddux Gold sell a couple months back, and I know for a fact that Joseph Sentif still has all these Maddux cards, so I don't think he's sold them off to anybody. They're not getting recirculated out there, and I'm sure a few of you have some of those cards as well. So my thought is that there's really 300 instead of the 150 of just the Sterling Golds out there, because I really don't see any of the other gold refractors pop up with near as much frequency. So that's pretty much it. I hope I kind of went over everything. Maybe a little confusing. Sorry this video is so long. Let me know what you think, and let's open up a discussion, see if anyone else has any other conspiracy theories about this, because it's just, I don't know. It's a cool set. It's a beautiful looking set. It's an in-depth set, and I just wanted to talk about it. So, all right, see you guys.